Jay here from Stretford, Paddock. That's Joe Smith. And yes, we are going to discuss it.
I don't know if we should.
Later on about what is going on with Adam Aston and his extra work at Brookside. Anyway, Paddock Live, because we're going to be talking, we're a little bit late, because we're going to be talking about Tuchel wants United. Now, had we gone live 23 minutes ago, 33 minutes ago, and we'd have said Tuchel wants United, the response from everyone watching this would have been, well, United want Tuchel. Because he was on the verge, on the cusp of going into another Champions League final, his third Champions League final, potential to win his second trophy as well. However, Real Madrid do what Real Madrid always do, came back, won the game, and you have to point a little bit of the finger at Thomas Tuchel with some of his substitutions.
I don't think it's his fault they ended up 2-1 down, but I do think it's his fault they were unable to really mount a comeback,
Okay. I agree with that. And it's now, the narrative will be shifted on social media. It'll have gone from, hey, get Tuchel at United to, do we really want him? So we're going to get into that, because him and Rio Ferdinand were chatting, you might be able to see there. They had a little conversation, Rio whispering in his ear, Tuchel whispering in Rio's ear.
Going on, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. It was quite an interesting one. So we'll get into all that. Also, we've got some other Manchester United news. Gareth Southgate. I was speaking about Gareth Southgate this morning.
Pathetic.
I mean, I think everyone on this channel has made their feelings clear about Gareth Southgate. You like Gareth Southgate, don't you? But not as a United manager.
Yeah, I think he's done well. I think he's done better for England than people want to give him credit for, and I would hate him to be the Manchester United manager. See, they're two very different things.
And that also, from anyone on this channel, is the nicest anyone's going to be about Gareth Southgate, and the most positive they're going to be about him. Yeah. Because compared to House and McCullough and
we've
to the
got
rest
the
of the game
closest thing to balance. With me being here.
Yeah,
still
genuinely.
not very balanced.
You at least rate him as an England manager, where I don't really think he gets those sort of props from anyone else. So we're going to be chatting about that, plus another couple of stories as well.
Yeah, some big transfer news actually. United linked with some players from actually reputable sources once. It looks like the summer window is starting to roll into view.
We need it.
We'll get into that as well.
We need this overhaul. We really do. Get involved in the comments in the chat. Make sure you are hitting that like button and subscribe. We're almost there. I want to get to 750,000 subscribers by the end of the season, and we're only 4,988 away. Is that right? Yeah. Quick maths. O'Hanlon 86, who's been a member of the first team for 16 months, says, hopefully this ends tickle links. Harry really is cursed. Waistcoat links with Erik Ten Hag out is trending. It's psychological warfare from Sir Jim. Nessie Apele says Tuchel out of all comps. Erik Ten Hag waiting for FA final. Wayne Davis has been
the math.
Academy member for 40 months, says we can't just say a manager's not good enough because they made a bad call and lost the semi-final.
Completely
Tommy
agree.
Tickle is a winner. Quickly.
Yes.
Tuchel.
Well, we'll get on to him in a minute. Should we just start with him? Should we just start with Thomas Tuchel?
Because that's the most relevant.
Let's just get into that. Okay. I'm accidentally doing Donald Trump hands here, and I didn't mean to. Okay. Right. Here you go. Rio whispers to Tuchel. What's that be? What's that mean? What's that be? I don't know why I did a West Country accent there. What's that be?
What's that? Where are you two?
What's going on
there? All right,
there?
lover.
What's
all
that?
Right, my dear.
Hey, what's that be?
Why is Rio whisper?
Can we cut to the full screen on that, please? Look in the pocket of Thomas Tuchel there. Let's put a whisper in it. So this is. Do you know what this is? This is a.
Have you checked his contract?
This is a.
Definitely, we cannot sack him.
Not on air. This is a dereliction of duty. This, because to force the pun, he's had to create the sort of the foundational kind of bedrock of the pun by photoshopping something in. That's not how puns work. Oh, he didn't Photoshop it. Put it full screen again. You didn't Photoshop that fucking whisper onto his pocket, did you? Is that what you're saying now, under oath? You didn't Photoshop that? He just saw it in his pocket, and then he said, "Did you see what he went, I just saw it in his pocket," and so not only are you saying you didn't Photoshop it, you're saying you took that picture, are you?
I'm genuinely...
You're the photographer of that.
All joking aside, I'm genuinely concerned about you. You okay? Because you've saw that, right, and you've gone, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick a whisper on him, and then that can give me the pun, Rio whispers to Tuchel, which isn't even that great anyway.
This is the whole thing.
And then you've stuck that on.
The whole thing stinks.
And then denied it.
This absolutely stinks of an inside job, this. I think you're in with him.
Well, me?
Yeah. Tuchel has confirmed that he would like to return to England once he officially leaves Bayern Munich. The 50-year-old said, "It's no secret that I loved it at Chelsea, I loved it in England, and I loved it in the Premier League for sure. It was very, very special time in England. Asked where he sees himself next season, Tuchel added, it's very, 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 that's 3 verys, very unlikely that it's at Bayern. We took this position and there's a pact, and we are not doubting. The initiative came from the club, and so it is, and I'm fine with it. There was also more reports as well that he would be keen to come to Manchester United should there be a vacancy there. So that's a sort of a step further than this. This is the Telegraph. I've seen other reports tonight that he is up for coming to Manchester United specifically as well.
Would you have him?
What situation are we in? Have we sacked Erik ten Hag either way and I've got to pick the next one, or do I have to pick him and sack ten Hag in the process?
The latter.
No.
Right.
And that's nothing to do with tonight. I don't think he managed... To be fair, I think he's a good manager, and I think he made a stupid mistake tonight. But Manuel Neuer dropping the ball at the foot of the Real Madrid striker is a much bigger reason they lost than him taking Harry Kane off. That doesn't mean that taking Harry Kane off wasn't stupid.
Yeah.
Because when you're 1 goal up against Real Madrid, they score 1 goal. If nothing else, it's extra time and penalties. Surely you want Kane around for that.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally putting all his eggs in the basket that Real Madrid will not equalise. And I think that was a stupid thing to do.
Sometimes things are just obviously stupid.
Yeah.
Like when he played City in the final, I don't care what anyone says about how clever Pep Guardiola is. Dropping Rodri was a mistake.
Yeah, of course.
It was. It made no sense. He played 53 games that season. He was so good for him. And he dropped him, and City looked all over the gaff in that midfield, and N'Golo Kante was just running the show. And it was like, why have you done that? And he looked so disjointed, it made zero sense. And that substitution tonight, it's not the be-all and end-all, but it made zero sense. And plus, now it leads to that wider context of his time at Bayern Munich, where in 2 seasons, he's won the Bundesliga on the last day of the season, when Dortmund threw it away.
Yeah.
He's finished a distant second to Bayer Leverkusen this season, and he's got knocked out of the Champions League. All right, he's got to a semi-final, but no one's really getting excited about that for Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
So now, all of a sudden, what could have been a good spell at Bayern Munich, a Bundesliga and a Champions League, just becomes 1 Bundesliga over the course of 2 seasons. That isn't good.
No,
it isn't.
It's not.
So, does that mean he's a manager who's on the up? He's a manager who's doing well? He's a manager who you think, yeah, you know what, get him in? I think it does alter it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it does. And I think it would have been different if, as we were saying earlier, me and you, if he'd have got through tonight, you can then say, okay, he's a manager who's been to 3 Champions League finals with 3 different clubs. Yep. That's no joke, that. No. You can't ignore that.
Very few managers ever have done that.
And 2 of those clubs were very unfancied. I know PSG have spent billions, but they've only been at 1 Champions League final, and he took them there. Chelsea, they won 1 under Matteo, but did anyone think they were going to win the Champions League this season? He won it with them. No. And again, even Bayern Munich this season, you'd have put City and Arsenal and Madrid above them. So if he'd have got to the final, you think, well done. But he hasn't. So you're now looking at it in a different context for me. It feels a little bit like when we brought in Jose, but worse, in the sense of a good manager with a good record who's maybe not, on the slight decline. I think Jose was slightly higher than Tuchel is now because he won a title not long ago. So yeah, I don't know. I think these little fine margins do affect people's thinking. Let me know what you think. Let me know whether it does bother you, whether you believed in him before that, now you don't, or you didn't believe in him before tonight and now you don't. I'm interested in what people have got to say. Witterbird Vicky's gifted 5 Stretford Paddock memberships. Thank you for that. Always supporting the channel. It is much appreciated.
Thank you.
Joshua Bowater says, I know lots of people want Erik ten Hag gone, but I found that a bit distasteful from Rio and TNT. Basically flirting with Tuchel when Erik ten Hag is still in the job. Zoateng TV says Tuchel masterclass tonight. Neuer blew the game.
I will say in Tuchel's defence, and this is just a defence of a manager who doesn't manage Man United, nothing to do with what may come. I don't think he set Bayern up badly, and I do think that based on averages, they should have won the game tonight. I don't think Real Madrid were a far better team. I think the thing that unscrewed kind of Bayern's game plan completely was a outlandish and uncharacteristic mistake from what I was saying to you at the start of the game, Manuel Neuer, who I think might be the best goalkeeper I've ever seen. Like, that is what really undid Bayern. Taking Kane off was stupid, and it turned out to prevent them from being able to do anything after the goal had gone in. But I don't think he managed them badly tonight. I don't think it was he made a big mistake, But the thing that really undid them was the Neuer mistake, wasn't it? You know, there's a lot of luck that goes into football, and Real Madrid are another sort of beast entirely in the Champions League as well, and it's the closest thing to footballing fate, isn't it? Real Madrid in a Champions League semi-final. There's almost nothing you can do, and especially if you chuck a big mistake in there, you're just going to lose, aren't you? So I don't think he had a terrible night. He just made one error that was completely shown off by Neuer's horrendous error.
Yeah, no, you're right, but it's mad though. Sometimes that one little thing can be the definitive moment that changes the perception, changes the thinking, changes the conversation. I don't know. I'm not privy to those conversations, but maybe if he'd got to the Champions League final, maybe Ineos will look at him differently.
Probably would.
Yeah, and maybe now they won't, because they'll look at him and go, he's failed at Bayern Munich. Overall, he's been a failure. Whereas had he got to the Champions League final, you might go, overall, he's been a success. Yep. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the comments. I do get the point that you don't judge a manager with Thomas Tuchel's track record, trophy cabinet, on just taking off Harry Kane when you were winning with 10 minutes to go. That doesn't define his career. I just wonder whether that might alter the conversation that Ineos were having or might have been having anyway. P11377 says, Joe, can you give us your J impression? Have you got a J impression? I don't think you've ever done.
I haven't got one, and I'm not going to have one now.
You mean you're welcome to if you want. I won't take offence if you want to do an impression of me.
It would be distasteful.
Would it? Would it just be some mank? Yeah, just a generic mank. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Fair enough. Yeah, what?
Yeah, just sort of that sort of stuff. Innit? I just won't do it, Jay. I've got an OnlyFans where that's all I do. If anyone's interested, it's just me being.
Can
Jay.
I just say
what
on the puns, by the way? Yeah, I'm giving that a 2.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's shocking.
And the reason I'm giving it a 2 is because you're capable of so much better.
In terms of,
and I don't know, you're stood there shaking your head out. I don't think you're not involved because you are.
Yeah.
Nick from Real Red Sox here helping out. You're just as culpable as him because I bet you've been egging him on, saying, "Yeah, that's really good." That. Yeah, whisper. I love that.
In terms of creativity, it's probably an 8 or a 9. But in terms of quality, it's a 0, isn't it? It doesn't work. It isn't a pun. You've forced a pun by making a pun. That's not how it works. You can't create the basis of it. Right, let's move on to the next one then.
Go on.
Let's go back.
Time to redeem yourself.
Yes, Southgate. 3. What's going on here?
Oh, they're doing it. There's a theme, Joseph. There's a theme.
Oh, no.
There's a theme.
3 lion bars and a boost. Put the graphic full screen. Put the graphic full screen again. Look at it in his waistcoat pocket. It's a boost, isn't it? It's a boost bar. A Cadbury's boost bar.
How did this start? Who started this?
It was this story that says Gareth Southgate has received the boost.
So it says there, right, okay, right.
Right,
before we judge,
go on.
Let me read the byline. Gareth Southgate has received a boost. Now, in his defence, putting a boost in his waistcoat pocket makes a bit of sense.
We altered the order as well, didn't we? So this coming in the first one would have made the second one look a little bit more sort of understandable.
Professional.
Yeah, but because we went in the first one, it didn't because it felt proper shoehorned in.
Right.
So I'm going to revise my assessment of the first one. It's no longer a 2 out of 10. I get it. I'm a big fan of the Concepts album. Yeah? And that's what this is. Yeah? This is like, you know, the...
this is your White album.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You've got a theme, you've gone with the concept, you've stuck with it. It's a story. We're going on a journey. I respect that. So I'm going to give the Whisper one 7, and you can have 8 for this. I like it. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the long-term thinking.
This might be your Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
What was the one with Plan B?
Moon is the name of it.
Plan B. What? Is it? I can't. The Strickland Banks one. You know what I mean. Anyway, go on.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Right, let's read this. United will not piss. United will not pick a successor to Erik Ten Hag should the club decide...
The defamation, that was it. Sorry.
Should the club decide to sack the Dutchman on their trophy record alone, which boosts the chances of Southgate emerging as the favourite for the post. Unlike others linked to the job, such as Thomas Tuchel, he is yet to win any silverware as a coach, which is always good, but that is not expected to count against him. Should England fall short at the Euros, then Southgate is expected to consider leaving his post, which would potentially free him to succeed at United. Now, this sentence, paragraph, whatever it is, a couple of sentences, alone is filled with some of the most backward logic I have ever seen in my life. It is not... Right, so it says here, look, they're not going to pick a Ten Hag's successor on their trophy record alone. Right, okay. Which basically means, you know, it could be a really great up-and-coming manager who's not won a lot. You know, someone like Alonso's won less than Ancelotti, for example. But basically, they've gone to the extent of saying the fact that he's won fuck all is actually a good thing, Jay. We're actually glad he's won nothing because we want to be very... Not only is that a weird jump of logic, the second one is, should Southgate fall short at the Euros, meaning basically he's not even good enough for England, that would actually make him better, give him a better chance of being the manager at United, because he would then be free. Because he's been so shit at England, he would have a bit of free time on his hands to come and manage Manchester United. What is that? You've never won out, which is a good thing, and you're going to fail with England in the summer, which is actually a good thing.
If you had to eat just one for the rest of your life, would it be Whispers or Boost?
Whisper.
Really?
I think the Boost is too sickly.
Really?
I like the Whisper, actually. It's pretty good.
I remember when I used to work in the radio and I was knackered, there was a vending machine with Boost in. I used to eat them thinking it'd give me energy, and it didn't. It just made me more tired.
Yeah. It is basically a nap in a wrapper, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the thing with them, the Boost has got a lot smaller.
Right.
It used to be like you could truncheon someone over the head with one 20 years ago.
Now it's
shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation, nice one, brother. Yeah, you're right. This makes zero sense. It's just, it's a fallacy of logic.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going for someone not based on trophies, so if he doesn't win a trophy, actually that's a positive thing because he'll lose his job and then we can get him. What?
Yeah.
I've said it this morning on my news. I've said it on other videos as well. I don't want Gareth Southgate. I think that whilst he has done a decent job for England, a quarter-final, a semi-final in the World Cup and a final in the Euros, finishing third in the Nations League, I know he got relegated in the other time he was in the Nations League, that's all good, and I'm old enough to remember Graham Taylor and Steve McLaren and Roy Hodgson proper failing in that role. I don't think you can look at it and go, wow, he's smashed it that much at England, he's ready for the United job. I don't think he's done a good enough job at England, and I don't even think you can do a good enough job at England to warrant the United job. I think you have to have some club pedigree, and he's got zero club pedigree. He was at Middlesbrough, 14 years ago, whenever it was? I think 2009 he got sacked, so 15 years ago. Sacked after relegating him. You say, well, Ollie did that. Yeah, but Ollie had some club pedigree in what he'd done at Norway, and also he came in as caretaker. He got in through the back door. Smashed it as caretaker, then got the job because of that. He didn't get the job because of what he'd done at Molde. No. He got the job because he's a United legend and we wanted a safe pair of hands just to get us through the sort of post-Mourinho stupor we're in.
Yeah. Well, Ollie basically did an apprenticeship, didn't he?
Yeah.
He got the job because of his work at United as manager, not really his CV.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, you're right. And that's not going to happen. Something's not going to get given the job on a caretaker basis.
No.
He's going to get brought in, if he is brought in, as permanent manager. He's never done anything in the transfer market of note. He's never done anything in the Premier League of note. He's done okay with an England team who have done well in tournaments, but when it has come up against the real big teams and the teams where it's 50-50 as to who should win, he's fallen short. Mm-hmm. Not for me, just an absolute disastrous appointment if it was to happen. I actually don't think it will. I don't think Ineos are that stupid, and for me it would be a stupid appointment.
It would be a real jarring one.
Yeah.
You know, if we got him in, I think it would be a good way to change millions of people's perception of Ineos overnight. Like going from thinking this makes sense, Jean-Claude Blanc has done at Juventus, what he's done at PSG, Brailsford, serial winner in cycling in the Olympics, you know, improving situation at Nice, you know, Ratcliffe, Britain's richest man, he knows how to be successful, look at all the... And then you get him, who, like you said, has only ever been a failure at club level and hasn't been a sort of runaway success at international level by any means. And you even just look at, like, when's the last time an international manager who was known and really built their pedigree as an international manager left there and was hugely successful with a club? It's very rare. I know Scolari did some bits as a manager, but like it's very, even then, not a lot.
No, he got sacked at Chelsea, didn't he? He was after he won the World Cup.
Like, it just doesn't really happen. The great international managers, especially in the modern era, don't usually leave their post and go on to be great club managers. It's very, very, very rare. Like none of it makes sense at all, except the fact that a lot of the people we've got in are English and he's English. That's the only link.
No.
And what a strange reason to appoint someone.
Like you say, it undermined the idea that Ineos know what they're doing. There'd be a lack of goodwill towards that appointment. I think a lot of the players would be scratching their heads. And also, if you're someone like Liverpool or City or Arsenal, you'd look at that and you'd laugh.
Yeah,
you'd laugh. You'd think, oh, well, United have just sent themselves backwards again. Good to see. Akash Paul says Tuchel is very abrasive on and off the pitch.
Yeah.
Happy says, can't wait to see Erik Ten Hag out bums, asking for Tuchel out in 2 years. And if I had Madrid luck, I would never work a day in my life. Erik Ten Hag in, up the paddock. James Barry says, you don't get warm weather in Ireland. Matthew Coward says, lads, it's time for Huddleston. Can't decide if it's in midfield or in the technical area yet. Yomi Nelson says, Southgate is shite.
Just on the Real Madrid thing quickly, I've got a little bit of a theory of how they do it. Because I was speaking, I thought this, I spoke to a couple of people as well over text message and people watching the game, and many of them said the same sentence, which is, I was just starting to think they wouldn't do it. I was just starting to think Bayern would win it. I almost think that's Real Madrid rely on that. Like, I think City had started to believe they were going to beat Real Madrid a couple of years ago. Yeah. Do you know when like Grealish we were here. I think City started to believe it. And then when you get caught, it's so much harder to gather the troops and regroup and not let that barrage hit you. I think Bayern had just started to believe.
Do you think maybe Neuer started to think that?
That's what I mean. Yeah. I think it just slips me. We're actually going to do. Oh my God, we're fucked.
He's faced a million shots like that from Vinicius Junior, not just from Vinicius, straight at him, not that pacey, and he's always caught it. He's always held on to it. And then in that one moment, in one of the biggest games of his career, I know he's been to Champions League finals, he won Champions League, but this is up there with one of the biggest moments of his career, and probably his last chance, never say never, but his last chance to win the Champions League, or one of his last chances, and he does something like that, so out of character. It's almost unheard of. Yeah. And yet he does that in that moment, because maybe you're right, maybe it is that whole thing of, and maybe the flip side to that is Real Madrid keep going.
They don't think they've lost.
They never think that.
No.
And do you remember the City game? I think it was Ancelotti. He was asked about his substitutions for the City game, and he said, I just sort of got everyone together and asked them. Got some of the bench was like, what do you think we should do? Like, it wasn't a tactical, and obviously you've got to get credit, but it wasn't like he'd gone, right, Ruud, this is what we need to do. He just gone, right, what do you reckon? Yeah, change this, do that, stick him on, right, okay, let's go for it. And then he went for it, and he obviously get that win.
And sometimes in those moments, those, like, it has to happen now moments, like, if you are going to stay in this competition, you have to score now. Tactics and stuff just go out the window. Yeah. It is mentality. There's a reason why so few non-Spanish teams beat Spanish teams in European finals. There's a reason why Real Madrid never lose European finals or big games like this, is because at some point it doesn't really matter if Zidane's hugely tactical or Ancelotti's hugely tactical. It's about the players thinking it's going to happen, doing the right thing, playing for each other. Like, those things matter. They do matter. People want to pretend they don't, but they clearly do. Look at the evidence in front of us. There's more to football, especially in those fine margin moments, than who's got the most mathematical coach. Like, that sort of thing is huge, like you said. Team spirit, believing you're going to win, and that will take you across the line in big moments. If you can stay in the game, that's why Real Madrid are so absolutely brilliant at it, because they just literally think they will win until the last whistle blows.
It's got to be psychological. To not lose a final in 40 years in Europe. Real Madrid haven't lost a final since Fergie. Fergie's the last manager to beat Real Madrid in a final, and that was a Cup Winners' Cup, the greatest trophy of all time, in 1983, I think. Yeah.
It wasn't even at United yet.
41 years ago it was. And they have been in so many finals since then, and they've won them all. Like, that is unreal. That's not just, pardon the pun, that's not just luck, like you say. That's belief. That's something there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
It's an almost freakish amount of mental strength and belief in it. It has to be.
It is. And we've seen it. I mean, you watched the finals recently against Liverpool, and they had that swagger, they had that confidence, they had that belief. It was just there, wasn't it? And Liverpool have got, unfortunately, a pedigree in the Champions League. And the one time they've won it recently is when they didn't face Madrid in the final. They faced Spurs, who were proper Spurser. So yeah, there's definitely something there. Right, come on then, Milano. Let's have a look at the next chocolate-related pub.
We're back to Tuchel again.
Time out.
It's a type of chocolate bar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and if we can just go full screen, look at the bottom left there. It's a timeout wafer sticking out of Ten Hag's pocket.
I like timeouts. I like a cheat. They're like not really a chocolate bar.
What is it?
It's just like wafer with a bit of... Is it like a flake in the middle of it?
Something like that.
It's what? Yeah, wafer with like flake in the middle. Is that what it is? I've not had a time.
A little bit of chocolate in there
and then
as well.
surrounded by chocolate.
So this is another chocolate pun. What do you make of it?
I think it's nice.
All Cadbury so far as well.
Yeah, I mean, other chocolate bars are available,
yep.
or other chocolate brands, I should say, are available. Yeah.
Interesting. Let's go for it. Erik ten Hag is reportedly no longer on Bayern Munich's shortlist to become their next manager. This is according to Bild and the Daily Mail. Bayern's director of sport, Max Eberl, held talks with ten Hag, but he's no longer in the running to replace Thomas Tuchel. Bayern have already been spurned by their first 3 preferences for the role: Xabi Alonso, Julian Nagelsmann and Ralf Rangnick. All 3 occupy managerial jobs, Leverkusen, Germany and Austria, respectively. Hansi Flick, who previously managed Bayern to a treble, is now understood to be the favourite to take the role. Do you know that Hansi Flick at Bayern has got, I think this is, I'm right in saying, has got the best win rate of any manager in modern history at any club?
Is it 83% or
He's
something?
got an 83% win rate at Bayern. And he was there for like 2 years. It wasn't like 6 games and he's won 5. Not that would be, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get it.
He was there for a long time. He won a treble and somehow went. Like, he got sacked on an 83% win rate. What is that?
It makes me laugh, when people look at that and they'll go, see, that's why Bayern do so well. That's what United needs to be more like. Well, no, it's not just that. It's like United can't go out now this summer and buy City and Liverpool and Arsenal's best players.
No.
That's not a thing for us. Bayern Munich every couple of seasons will go, who's getting near us? Who's doing well in the Bundesliga? Right, well, we'll take some of their players. We'll have him. And then just cement their place at the top of the tree in Germany. United can't really do that. No. That's not a thing for us. So, yeah, I mean, obviously Bayern Munich have very, very high standards. I get that. Some of the names make sense. I was a little bit surprised that they went for Ralf Rangnick, but he's quite vocal in the fact that he's sticking with Austria, I think, or he just turned them down anyway. Hansi Flick makes a lot of sense, especially when they're not getting any joy. And I've said it before, and I know people might disagree, whatever. I want to see Erik ten Hag being given an opportunity, so I, for one, I'm glad he's not going to Bayern Munich.
If I was
an opportunity here, I should say,
a manager, I'd really, really think about taking this job now, because all the fans of your team, of the opposition teams, every journalist, and even your own players know I'm meant to be listening to the fucking 4th choice manager here.
Yeah.
Really, he's going to tell me what to do. He's going to make me run until I'm being sick. Really? I'm listening to you. The club didn't even want you, dickhead. Yeah. We can get rid of you like that because you were 4th choice in the first place. Like, it's a terrible job to take now. The more embarrassed they get, the worse it's going to be when the new guy comes in. Because all it takes is 3 or 4 players to go, we can just get rid of him. Like, They don't even want him. Like, why would we listen? Like, I don't know, they almost need like if they have a really high intensity, highly tactical manager, I think they might struggle. They almost need someone who's going to be like an Ancelotti style, where even though we know he's not first choice, we like him enough that we'll play for him.
Yeah.
Because if they had like a Tuchel style manager come in now, well, he's fucked, isn't he?
Yeah.
Why would we listen to him? The club didn't want him. They'll sack him because they didn't like him in the first place.
It's really weird as well. It'll be interesting what happens with Leverkusen in the summer.
Yeah.
They keep hold of their squad. Obviously, Alonso's staying there. They keep hold of a lot of their squad. There's no reason why they can't retain it.
Yeah.
That could happen. Dortmund did it, didn't they?
Yeah.
The last time someone other than Leverkusen, last time Bayern Munich, didn't win the title, it was Dortmund retaining the title. Yeah. They won back-to-back titles under Jurgen Klopp, so it can happen. Yeah. And obviously it's been 11 years or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see. Freddie Westrope says, Leverkusen invincible, hard to judge Tuchel on that. Every team gave us a game, all our wins seem snatched. What have you seen from Erik ten Hag to keep him? I think he's done that twice. I mean, liked what I saw at Ajax. I like what I saw in the first season. I think he has had a bad season this season. I'm just willing to stomach it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good manager having a bad season, not a bad manager or a manager who's become a bad manager. I think he's had a bit of a stinker this season. I'm not going to deny that. I think there are mitigating circumstances, but some of his tactics haven't been good enough. Mm-hmm. But I still would like to see him being given an opportunity under a structure where they go, no, you're not having this player, or I'll tell you what, here's a player for you. Would Jurgen Klopp have had the success at Liverpool if the board had gone, yeah, we'll get you Julian Brand instead of Mo Salah, which is what he wanted? If they'd have gone, yeah, okay. Well, Julian Brandon scored 150 goals in 4 seasons, whatever Salah did in his first 4 years.
I can say with the nearest thing to 100% certainty, no, they wouldn't have had that success.
Absolutely not.
Impossible.
Yeah. And it's those little decisions that make such a big difference. Mm-hmm. And I think if he can get someone above him who can go, right, here's a player that works for you, here's a player that can fit in your system, here's a player you can afford, here's how we can get this working together, I think it could be a success. I think he deserves an opportunity. I know a lot of people disagree, and especially after the Palace game, it's a very hard sell. Trust me, I can see that, but you never know. Right, go on then, let's move on.
Yes. So on to some transfers then. Greenwood to leave the club. He's still going with it. Bit of a cheeky one there.
Mason Greenwood, little cheeky club pun there, yeah. Very good. You've managed to make it work.
If you just put it full screen so you can see, look in his little corner there. Club bar.
Yeah, very good.
2 Premier League clubs have inquired about signing Mason Greenwood. At least 2, according to the Telegraph, Premier League clubs have inquired about signing Mason Greenwood, but the controversial United striker is still more likely to move overseas if sold this summer. Greenwood, 22, has caught the attention of Spanish audiences this season after scoring 10 goals in 31 appearances on loan at Getafe. United are thought to value Greenwood at around 40 to 45 million. Greenwood's contract runs until June next year, but there's an option to extend the deal by a further 12 months to 2026. So, you know, it's an interesting one, just starting firstly with this extension idea. It would be a very interesting decision as to whether, let's say he goes on loan for another season, Manchester United to see if they were willing to hit that extension button, because obviously contractually they can. It adds value to the player, but if you're publicly suggesting that we are actively trying to extend the stay of Mason Greenwood at Manchester United after everything that's happened, that would be a big step for United to take that I don't really see them taking. I think we have to get rid of him permanently this summer to avoid either losing him on a free next year, having him around for another year, or this bizarre idea that we would extend the contract of a player who is out of the squad for the reasons he's out of the squad. I think that would be a bizarre look and one that we couldn't really do you?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this story's bollocks, by the way.
Do you?
I don't like any story that starts with nonsense like at least 2 Premier League clubs.
Yeah.
What? What's that mean?
Yeah.
At least 2.
Do you know where that's because that'll be someone chatting to someone who'll have gone, you know, a couple of Premier League clubs are interested in him as well.
Yeah.
That'll probably be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least 2 makes me just think, you don't know that. You're just making it up, or an agent's got in touch with you, or someone and you've heard it from some like secondary sources that, oh yeah, it's not 3, but it's not 1, it's at least 2. What? Yeah. Come on, man. It just sounds like nonsense to me, that. No, you're right though about the 12-year extension thing. He just needs to move on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It does. And I genuinely believe Mason Greenwood will absolutely Ruud van Nistelrooy one year. I think he will hit the dizzy heights. I think he's that good.
Yeah.
But I think United just have to stomach that. We know why he's leaving. We know we need to say, right, okay, it's time to move on. And we need to accept the fact that he will go on and score, for me, another 150 goals at the top level. Yeah. I think he will. I know he's not smashed it at Getafe. He's had a good season, but not an amazing one. But I think it's his first season back after a long layoff. Everything that comes out, you can see him physically, he's changed. He's got a little bit bigger than he was when he first went there. He's very scrawny. And I think he'll get into his groove. And I think at the age of 22, he's still very young.
Yeah, incredibly young.
Yeah, and I do expect, from what we see in Mason Greenwood, we just focus on the football for a minute, forget everything else. I know it's not easy, but let's just focus on the football. He's genuinely one of the most amazing finishers I've ever seen in my life. His finishing was just unreal. Yeah. He broke a load of records at Manchester United, the records that have stood when you've had the likes of Bobby Charlton and players like that coming through the ranks. And he's the one who was like breaking those records for a reason. He's just a phenomenal talent. And if he can avoid any issues off the pitch and just get on with his football, I think he'll score loads of goals. But United just needs to stomach that. And go, okay, we're letting go of a player that is going to go on and score a lot of goals, but we know why we're letting go of him. We just need to do it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Completely agree.
Do you know what I mean? Forget all the FOMO. Any more for any more?
Yes, this is a big one actually. Tosin. Oh, go on. There we go. We won't pay a dime. Really good. That was Adam with that one, which is brilliant.
Oh, look, do you know what? That was like Ethan was like an Academy Award winner then. Yeah, thanking the writers. Do you know what? Listen, I thank you for this Best Actor Oscar, but it's the writing. Yeah. It was. I just turned up. The director, he was the one. The director and the writers.
I want to thank the studio.
The studio. My agent, he put up with me for so many years.
My publicist.
Yeah, my publicist. So many late night phone calls. You convinced me to take this project. You absolutely convinced me, and I didn't listen. And of course, my wife, my rock, you. Yeah. Anyway.
And we won't pay a dime because United are interested in signing Fulham defender Tosin Adarabioyo this summer on a free contract. That's why the pun works. He's out of contract at Craven Cottage at the end of the season and could move to Old Trafford on a free transfer. Newcastle, Chelsea and Tottenham have also expressed an interest in the 26-year-old who has made 20 Premier League appearances this season and scored twice. United...
All right, then, nice one. And scored twice, I love that.
Yeah, he's a defender, so really, who cares? And it's not a number so great that it defies his position. If he'd have scored 20 appearances and scored 9 goals, I'd be like, wow, that's interesting.
It's just we need those extra forwards.
Yeah, United are looking to sign a centre-back this summer as part of a squad overhaul. So it's an interesting one, this, because on the one hand, so it's ESPN, but it's Rob Dawson, who has definitely got sources at United.
Yep.
He's a good journalist. He's been on the show a few times. But on the other hand, the phrasing of this is perhaps sort of purposefully a little bit vague. So it's he could join Manchester United. There are many clubs who are interested in him. It's a little bit. Does it actually say United are hugely interested? Not really. It just sort of says we are interested and so are a lot of others. I don't know if we're ahead of any of them. I don't know if he's our main priority, but it looks as though he's someone United are after. It makes sense. He's a young guy. He looks very promising and it's free. The only thing that I would see going wrong with this is United would probably get him and give him 190 grand a week because he was a free transfer. And then if he has a bad year or two, you can't get rid of him because he's on too much money. We need to be strict with what we're willing to pay this guy if he is to come in. He's a decent player, 26 years old, not young, but certainly not old for a centre-back. But we can't be doing this thing where Christian Eriksen or whoever it may be, Alexis Sanchez, we just give them the world because we didn't have to pay a transfer fee. We have to be sensible, and hopefully we'll start to see that with Ineos and Ratcliffe.
No, I agree with everything you've just said.
Yes.
Yeah. Wouldn't be against this signing as long as it's not 5 years at 250k a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Jalapeno 2 says the stick used to beat Erik Ten Hag most his style of play. Madrid doesn't have a definitive style. They just have top players with top mentality. We don't. Gazaru says hit like if you want Ten Hag to leave. Oh crikey! Right, go on. Let's move on.
Just on that. Sorry, I know we ain't got loads of time, but talking about the style of play and Madrid don't have a style of play. Have you noticed though that like the Twitter tactical football fan almost said when Real Madrid beat City, they almost kind of collapsed to their knees, and that I feel like a lot of people think if City or a really highly tactical team don't win the Champions League, then it sort of doesn't count. Like the only reason Real Madrid are winning it is because it's Real Madrid. Like they don't give Ancelotti that much credit. Like they like him because he's cool and he smokes a cigar, but no one talks about him as being a phenomenal motivator, like one of the greatest managers of all time. People value tactics and instruction so highly that this season it's almost like it doesn't even matter who wins the Champions League because City didn't win it, and therefore the best team and the best manager didn't win it. I don't know. I feel like if you aren't a really highly tactical manager, you're sort of disregarded and disrespected in a way that I just think is completely unfair, to be honest. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I get it.
Let's get to the next one then.
Go on, what's the next one?
Jared Branthwaite. What have we got? Here we go. That is the best one of the night, That is absolutely excellent.
Toffee.
That's fantastic. The chocolate, get it full screen. Come on, show off.
Toffee.
Toffee is the name of the chocolate. The toffee fee, he's a toffee because he plays for Everton, who are the Toffees, and the fee is 80 million. Toffee fee is 80 million. To round us out, that's exceptional,
Exceptional.
He's brought the album to a stunning close. Everton will attempt to fight off interest from Manchester United. And you're all right.
Sorry, my tongue and my trainer was bent over.
Vertonghen?
And it was sticky. Jan Vertonghen. So it was doing
the other one is as well.
I know, it's doing me head in. Sorry,
did you just stuff them on and you didn't hold the tongue when you put them on?
Yeah, because I took them off upstairs.
For sports day and that.
Yeah. It's a fashion statement.
Sorry.
United I couldn't go another 2 minutes.
Have Branthwaite on defensive shortlists, which both include Nice's Jean-Claude Todibo and Crystal Palace's Mark Gay. Branthwaite is open to making a summer move and reportedly has an £80 million price tag. However, it is understood Everton won't welcome any offers for the defender under contract till 2027, having secured Premier League survival. Steve isn't a fan.
I've seen it. Steve's got a war with the blue half of Merseyside.
Which I thought they were sort of enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, they are.
They were sort of.
We have a very good relationship with some of these channels and some of these fans. But they're not having Steve's comments. Steve says he's not any good. Yeah. Basically, he's no good on the ball, I think is his argument. I've not seen a lot of Branthwaite. I think he's a decent defender. I don't think he's worth 80 million quid.
No, me neither.
Even if we were to bring in the other kid from Fulham on a free, and you can get 2 defenders there for 80 million technically, I still would be against spending 80 million pound on a defender who is good but has never played Champions League football, has been part of a team that are going to finish 16th or whatever, and he's still learning his craft. I just think for me, 40 million, 50 million, okay. 80 million, forget that. That stinks of an Ed Woodward signing.
Yeah, and also 80 million for a centre back is like a cursed figure for Man United as well.
Yeah.
After the Maguire signing, we cannot spend exactly 80 million on another centre back ever again.
No.
Especially while Maguire's still in the squad. Like it's a stick that was used to beat Solskjaer, Maguire with. Just everything was a destruction point from that Maguire figure for Solskjaer's tenure at United. I just think that, like you said, if you can half that price or 50 million, 55 at a push, maybe. But I'm sick of United overpaying for players, and then when they don't live up to the hype or don't live up to the price tag, they get completely destroyed by United fans and opposition fans alike, and their confidence and career is sort of basically not getting rid of just them, but getting rid of the manager as well. It stinks of can't believe you spent that on him type transfer.
That's what's happened on it so many times, like you said. If Anthony cost the same as Palestri, it wouldn't be an issue. No. But he didn't. He cost almost as much as any winger that's ever played in the Premier League. Yeah. And that is where people are going, what? Really? Harry Maguire was compared to Van Dijk before he arrived because he cost 5 million more than Van Dijk. People expected him to do what Van Dijk did for Liverpool for us, and it weren't going to happen. No. He's not that good, and he's coming into a team that weren't as good as the one that Van Dijk went into. So, yeah, I just think avoid these sort of signings, especially not for a player who might be good enough to play for United and get us challenging again. But then again, you might not be.
And the other thing worth remembering as well is, let's say you wait 2 years and he goes on to be a fantastic Premier League proven centre-back. You're only going to pay 110. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? No centre-back has ever been 150 million.
Yeah.
So even if he goes on to be world-class, you might face a bit more competition from other teams. But you're not going to pay that much more than 80 million because centre-backs don't go for that much more. Why waste it on the potential?
With some of these clubs like Everton, and maybe it's the wages and stuff, but we've got so many players we want to get rid of. Is there never a swap deal? Is there never a deal that can be done? Like where we go, look, we've got players that get in your team, that improve your team. Because we have got
Maguire's
players.
A good example.
Yeah. And like, we're not going to give you 80 million, but let's say, for example, it was Maguire, we could give you Maguire and 30 million, and you're getting a proven Premier League player who, okay, he's a lot older than Branthwaite, but he's still got some miles left in the tank or whatever, and you're getting some cash as well. I think that would probably make a lot of sense, especially with FFP and all the machinations with that. I just don't understand why maybe United can't do that. I mean, we wasn't that long ago, we had James Garner going over there. We've always done business with Everton. We've had obviously a lot of players off them, they've had players off us. So that would make more sense to me than paying ridiculous amounts of money for a player who, according to Steve Allenson, ain't even that good. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you to everyone who got involved in the chat. Abhinav Verma says, I'm with Alson, Branthwaite, not worth the cash. Make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe.
Well done to Ethan for the
Well done to Ethan.
It was good. It was
and
really
Adam,
good. One of the best
well
you've
done. Yeah, absolutely smashed it with the concept album. Really, I was very, very impressed. We'll be back in the morning outside Old Trafford with the news then. Me, him, Howson, McCullough here off the bat tomorrow. So make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. That's been Joe Smith. Go and check out the Sloppy Joe's podcast as well. I'm Jay Moy. This has been Paddock Live. Thanks for watching.